What's going down? Welcome to the Back to the Bullpen show, the only baseball show that really matters. Along with Dick Brown with the setup man, I'm Doc Brown, the closer. You can get us on Twitter, Instagram, and of course, email at b2tbpshow@gmail.com. Remember, it is like the letter 2, so b2tbpshow@gmail.com. So we're gonna just kind of get going into this right here, man. What's going on? Baseball.
Yeah, less and less of it every day.
You got anything right off the bat here? Anything you'd like to get into initially?
No, I think I'm going to let you go ahead and lead on this one today.
Okay, well, pretty simple, man. I like to do word of the week each week. Last week, what was last week's word of the week? Do you remember? You jot that down.
Hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy, yes. So the word of the week this week is pandering. Do you know what pandering is, Dick?
I'm afraid I do, yes.
Yeah, it's when you tell people what they want to fucking hear instead of what you actually mean. On this show, I personally, I'm a man. I like to put my flag in the ground, and I like to defend my flag per se. I like to live a life of my own truth. So recently, really in the past couple weeks, there have been a lot of incidents, I would say, that I would consider pandering. And my problem really is that people are too dumb to see, because I mean, everybody panders, man. You know, everybody has a boss. I'm sure you have a boss that he comes up to you and he asks you, like, hey, are we grinding you into the ground enough here? Are you not making enough money and we're working you to death? And you're like, oh, yeah, no, it's cool. It's fine. Whatever. I'm having a good time. Cheerio.
Right.
Praise the Lord, thumbs up. At least that's how it is where I live. But so everybody panders, man. My problem really is when people are too stupid to see through the bullshit and see what's going on. So with the shooting stuff in Wisconsin,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yeah, I feel like all of the stuff. Now don't get me wrong, man. I've been profiled before. I used to have a big old Cadillac with, big old rims on it and a loud speaker, and I've been pulled over in neighborhoods that are very nice where I live. Actually, the first date I ever went out with my wife, I got pulled over. Had a bag of weed in the center console, and they came up to me and they said, "Hey, is this your car? Cadillac, big old rims, the whole deal, man, the whole deal." And as soon as I was like, "Yeah, it's my car," they were like, "Oh, okay, well, have a good one, sir." So basically, they had profiled me, and when they saw that I was white, they obviously let me go. They ignored the half an ounce of weed I had and the thing. They ignored that I don't have car. I didn't do car insurance for a long time because, in the words of Chris Rock, it's called in case shit. In case shit happens, it's a fucking scam. So I know firsthand that profiling, over policing, things like that exist. But when you have the opportunity to really incite change, to really make things happen, and people shun the people who are trying to make it happen, there is obviously a disconnect between what you think change is and what change really is. For example, so the Democratic Party, I mean, they're idiots too, and don't think I'm some fucking Trump guy. I'm not a Trump guy. I'm not going to get into my politics because if I get into my politics where I stand, nobody's going to listen to this. And I would assume you would agree with you would agree with that, Dick. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, knowing your political stance, compass, affiliation, or lack thereof, I would have to agree with that statement. You know.
Right. So I'm not going to get into what my politics are. I'm going to say this though. So the Democratic Party had candidates, a handful. The mayor from Indiana, Elizabeth Warren, who my wife voted for, which I don't care if she'll put it out there. If I actually voted, that's who I would have voted for too. If she had won the thing, that's who I would have voted. First time I would ever vote would have been for her. And then of course Bernie Sanders. So all three of them, they had legitimate plans to do things that would help, you know, not only everybody, but specifically communities, minority communities, man, where things like, archaic drug laws and, crazy health insurance and, lack of funds for like schools or public housing, like programs that like would have really helped those people, right? Would have helped everybody, would have helped me. I'm a blue collar, middle class dude. Would have helped me out. It would definitely help out a lot of the poor neighborhoods where I live, and I can assume that you would be in agreement, Dick, with what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
That there were people who would legitimately change. Nothing might have happened. They could have, been sloshed by Donald Trump in the general election. Like anything could happen, but those people legitimately wanted to make lives better, not only black lives, but everybody as a whole, unless you're the 1%, a rich person, right?
Right.
And the media, and I mean, even just people, man, people who vote in those primaries, I guess I can say that they were too scared. They're too scared of change, real change, too scared of real change, which is really my problem. Because those people were shunned for what they believed in. So you're telling me here we are, 6 months later, there's still cops killing black people. There's still coronavirus going on. All this is still happening, and you saddle up your horse to somebody who has done nothing but flip flop on issues and pander to his constituents. I don't know. Do you watch BET at all? Ever? Like ever in your life? Have you ever watched BET? You can be honest.
Yeah, no, I've watched BET. Now it hasn't been in about 10 or 15 years since I've had cable,
Oh,
but
okay. Um, yeah, well, I do. Me and my wife and my daughter. My daughter loves music. I love music. I watch a lot of singing competition shows, which that's like a guilty pleasure of mine. Of singing competition shows, The Voice, which is terrible, American Idol, and you know, I noticed that on these shows, which are on major networks, you would have a black singer, contestant, whatever, and they would obviously be better singers than the people who um, would end up winning most of the time, right? Because it's a competition, and it's pop, it. I can't really say it's like flat out racism, but I mean a little bit, right? Like these people are obviously better singers, and somehow the dopey white country guy always ends up in the final, and it's like,
yeah.
wow, this girl's an incredible singer, and she got eight. So I thought one time to my wife, I was like, you know what? Maybe there's a show out there that just does like soul or gospel music, and we don't have to worry about basically, the dopey fucking white people who suck going through, because that's the majority of the people who watch those shows, white people.
Right.
So I found a
I'm
show.
here doing this Tim McGraw cover.
Right, terrible, right. And so I did find a show on BET. It's called Sunday Best. I mean, I'm not really the biggest religious person, but there's nothing with sharing, some uplifting music with your family on a Sunday. Nothing wrong with that at all. So anyways, watch that show. I've watched it both seasons. It's been back on. It's a cool show. But I noticed that the Joe Biden commercials that they run on that channel, they have like Negro spirituals in the background and like all this. like imagery and like Martin
Like basically obvious like racial slap in the
pandering.
face type shit. Well, it's just so easy to call the bluff of all these fuck faces that do this type of shit, and
Right.
there's more than a few people that see it.
Right. But the issue is that the majority of people aren't seeing it. That's my problem. They're not seeing it. They take all this bullshit, and I mean, it can even go back to what we were talking about last week about the fucking advanced analytics and sabermetrics. Like, it is more than just what is right in front of you. You know, it's more. There's more going on with cheating in baseball than just the fucking Astros. Like, don't think that Joe Biden or the Democratic Party give a fuck about anybody but themselves, because that's what it is. It's a power grab. And so Biden, he'll play these, commercials with the Negro spiritual in the background, and they're like putting images up of John Lewis and Martin Luther King, just totally pandering, total pandering. Because I can flip on, TNT and get a Joe Biden commercial that has like like Aerosmith or something in the background. I don't know what music I don't know what music they use for those, but it's different. I know it's different. I can put on the R&B channel in the city I live, Magic 1021 FM. Shout out to the Quiet Storm, great baby making music. And they do the same thing with the pandering ass Negro spiritual music, man. It's like when are people gonna see past what is put right in front of them? Because and man, like I came out, I was outside having a smoke, and I came out and I saw Michelle. This was back, been having some technical difficulties here on the show. It's called bad Wi-Fi. So, you know,
We
fuck
actually
AT&T.
we have two separate studio locations. We have
Right.
back to the bullpen southern headquarters, which is where most of the writing and the content is conceived, and then we have the back to the bullpen west headquarters, where most of the recording and production side is taken care of.
Right. Much like any other company, all of the hard work is farmed out to the other side of the world, basically, for little to no cost at all to, like the main production.
Right.
Just a little capitalism 101 for you guys. Um, but yeah, so what I was saying, so you take all this pandering crap and you don't see past it. And so, oh yeah, so I came out and I saw Michelle Obama. She was talking on the TV, and so Bernie Sanders' name was on the bottom next, and I guess could have been because I was high, but I would legitimately was like, oh my god, what did I miss? Is that the ticket? Like, did we change something? Are we legitimately gonna have a chance? And then I realized that was just some kind of literally half baked, like, whoops, you got the guy on the missing elderly thing on the milk carton. That's who you have. And some fucking lady who withheld evidence to keep innocent black men in jail. Like, that's who you got in this time period in 2020 with everything that's happening. That's the best we could do. So, as I said, people need to like wake up and realize when they're intentionally being deceived. A lot of I can excuse anybody getting shot in Wisconsin. I can understand the reason why sports teams are not wanting to play. Like, I get the visibility factor, but you have to realize that the people who actually make decisions don't give two shits about athletes not playing over what happened. Unfortunately, the only way people can really make change is putting people who want to change things in power. And back to the original point, there were three people who wanted to change things. They wanted to end the war on drugs. They wanted to impose a wealth tax and distribute that money and dump it into inner city schools and public housing and healthcare. Healthcare should be a right. It's I don't even know how you can be a human being anymore and debate that if it should be for sale or a given right like it is everywhere else in the world. So,
When you think it's pretty, sorry to interrupt, but
no, go
I
ahead.
just wanted to add two quick tidbits that we're so used to both of these terms. We're so used to them that we don't question these terms when you actually absolutely should, because it's almost mind-boggling that you don't. Is we're some of the only places that even have these terms is pre-existing conditions. That's a United States thing. And what's the other one? Health insurance. Just think about that. You have health insurance like it's a vehicle or a home or an object.
Right. It's criminal, dude. It's fucking criminal. And the fact that people want to debate over cost and shit like that don't see the big fucking picture. And as I said, just those three things that those candidates wanted to change would impact the lives of people who have been hurt, people who have been locked up for dime bags and minor drug charges, thrown in jail, locked away, ruin those communities.
And they're,
People who,
this is ruining the lives of families, daughters, sons, and it's absolutely decimating. I mean, think about it. One family here, one family there, then it's half of the community, then that's bringing down the other half of the community, and then, you know, the school system's gonna suck. The
right.
the
And I
workforce is
mean,
gonna suck. The crime's gonna go up.
yeah, and I mean, part of the thing with crime, man, is opportunity. Like you have these schools that get. I mean, you can say whatever. People can draw up any kind of bullshit that they want. Like there's schools in the city where I live that don't even have desks for the students. Don't even have them. Don't even have desks. I wrote a very interesting paper that scored a good grade in my English comp class in college. That was all about one particular high school here that can't afford desks for their students. How are you going to expect kids to go to a school where they can't even sit down and learn and I can't say make something out of themselves, but you're starting them in a pretty bad fucking hole. So, let's say you do a 1 cent health or a 1 cent wealth tax for people like Jeff Bezos and all these fucking oil execs where I live. You know what I'm saying? Give them a fucking wealth tax. And then you know what? You take that money and you can take the money from, as I said, repealing the war on drugs. It's a war that has probably not killed, but cost more American lives since Nixon started it than any of the wars we've fucking been in. And I think that's a pretty fair and level-headed statement to make. So you take money from those two things and you can turn right around and you can pump it into the third thing, which, as I said, healthcare should be a fucking right. It should be a right. You have people who can't afford health insurance or don't want to go to the doctor because they don't want to get saddled with the bill. So me, for example, I pay a lot in health insurance. The difference between me having increased taxes and paying the $12,000 I do a year in health insurance is minimal difference. And you're telling me that if I pay that tax, then everyone else can get good care. So, as I said, these three things, these three things they will impact the lives of the people who, as I said, are basically getting pandered to right now, dude. Like You know what? You know what's going to happen from this? You're going to have a bunch of dopey ass fucking white people who cancel themselves over shit that isn't racist and expect to get a fucking pat on the back. Lady Antebellum. Okay, so they're Lady A now.
And
We offended our one. Oh,
did,
go ahead.
did you? So they switched their name to Lady A. I don't know if you heard this part. They switched their name
No, I know. Yeah.
Lady A.
Yeah, I know that.
For anyone that doesn't know, there was a black singer, a woman, who went by the name Lady A long before that Lady
Yeah, and they
Antebellum.
fucking stomped all over.
Yeah. Then they sued her, even though she went by Lady A far before them.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah, because Lady Antebellum is racist, and you're gonna fucking turn right around and stomp all over a black singer that's been using that name. Doesn't matter she didn't sell as many albums. Like, what kind? That's what I'm saying, man.
it's
So
like
you're gonna have
the
all.
steamrolling of Cuba.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That guy. Right.
Well,
Yeah.
if
Let's
they
put.
didn't have lawyers, we would have fucking steamrolled her.
Right. Right. So I mean, it's just the whole thing. So the NBA did their thing, which, as I said, man, it's predominantly a black league. Like, I get it. I've been profiled because the cops thought I was black, and I'm not. So so the NBA, I guess the stadiums are going to be places to vote now, which cool, man. It could turn out to be bringing more people to vote, and more people should vote. I've always said that if more people voted, there would be no Republicans in this country, because in a lot of places, especially where I live and especially where you live, the states are pretty much minority majority, is what it is. So
Where I'm at, it's always been known as a extremely conservative state. Now, in my metro area, that's not always the case due to, like you said, the minorities, things like that. It's a pretty diverse community, but so my friend took that as, oh, it's just a red state, and he texted me the other day and was like, "What's the percentage of non-whites in your state?" And now I don't have the number off the top of my head, so I'm not gonna say it. But I told him, and it was just a surprising, wow. He's like, wow, like I didn't even think it was that close, you know?
right. Yeah, and I live in a minority majority state. But I mean, and that's all good and well, man. Good. So the NBA Board of Governors said, okay, we'll open our stadiums to let more people vote. But as I said, it's not going to change a fucking thing. It doesn't matter if Joe Biden gets elected. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump gets elected. It wouldn't have mattered if Jill Stein got elected in 2016. It doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter. None of it matters, because the things that would really cause change are ignored by politicians. I mean, I'm assuming everybody heard what Joe Biden, and don't think I'm knocking Joe Biden. All politicians are a piece of shit, man. All of them. All of them are. They care about fucking power and power. And you know what their thing is that they care about?
Money.
No, it's power and then money. Um, so don't think this isn't a Joe Biden.
Right. Now, if there's not really much to even say about the president at this point, and it's not like he's running against anybody in his party, so we don't really have anything to go off. There's no.
No.
So if this was like 2016 and we could bang up on both parties, and maybe we will some on another episode. Maybe we'll have a Republican beatdown on another episode.
We don't need to bang on Donald Trump, because Donald Trump's already been banged on for everything he can fucking get banged on. And I mean, it's pretty simple. You have a piece of shit and a piece of shit. Who are you letting yourself get pandered to by? That's really what it comes down to. Are you letting Joe Biden get on Charlemagne and say, "Well, you're not black if you don't vote for me," and say, "Oh, well, I know people that smoke marijuana, and the verdict isn't out on it yet." And Charlemagne's like, What are you fucking talking about, dude? Like, what are you talking about, man? If you're black, you're not black if you don't vote for me. Like, come on, man. And see, that's my thing. That's my thing. It's not about I'm not trying to get on here and, as I said, be like, oh fuck Joe Biden and yeah, Trump all the way. Trump all. I'm not doing that, man. I just want people, the 5 people that listen to this show. Hopefully next week it's 10. Then the week after that it's 15. Then the week after, keep going, and then we cap out at like 60. Or whatever. And people buy like 2 of our T-shirts, as I said, which you get from the website. I'll
Well,
plug it again later.
I wish we
Anyways,
would have started this earlier so we could have done like a an election shirt. We would have had like Gossage and then another person, Gossage Gagne 20. That would have.
yeah, I would. I mean, yes, I would wear. I would be all over that.
So just
Eric
so you,
Gagne. Eric Gagne is my favorite closer ever. He's without a doubt the most dominant closer in his short, juiced up time than anybody. It's not even fucking close. But yeah, so what I was saying, I'm not, I'm not bashing Biden or any. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to tell people to fucking wake up and realize what the real fucking problems are. All this shit that they're telling you on the news and fucking people being racially divisive with each other and like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Oh, well, you're a bootlicker. Oh, you're a Trumper. Like, all that shit distracts from the real problems, the real shit that would get fixed. And that is my issue. I am asking everybody that listens to this, all 5 people, please wake the fuck up. See the big picture. So from there, as I said, see the big picture. So I promised I was going to tie this back into baseball. And as I said, I'm not getting into people sitting out games, even though I know it's not gonna that's not gonna cause the change that people want it to. As I said, there'll be some pandering shit that happens in a week, and we'll still be talking about the same shit happening 6 months from now, fucking a year from now, 2 years from now, 6 years from now, because until the roots are pulled and we redo some basic shit in this country, nothing is ever gonna fucking change. So as I said,
and that's what going back to what you said. Just because the what you said, that doesn't mean that the players aren't doing this with good intention.
oh right, yeah, no, I'm not saying no one has the right to stop. I'm not shut up and dribble guy. I'm not saying that. I just need people need to realize that these are just half measures. They're just half measures. You can have good intention and have it only be a half measure. Um, until full measures are made, nothing will change. And for people to expect for things like this to really cause change, they're fucking fooling themselves, and they're a part of the goddamn problem. So as I said, I'm done. I'm done with that thing with pandering. Please wake the fuck up. I'm going into another part of pandering. So I heard him called Thom on the radio here, so I'm going with Thom. I like that more than Tom. You know Thom Brenneman, right? The announcer.
Yes,
Okay. Um, and I mean I know this is the internet, but I'm not really going to use the word, but he spelled out future analytical greatness
he
and
didn't.
then added vil at the end.
No, he's
Um,
future analytical greatness capital of the world.
The fag capitals of the world.
I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again. I don't know if it's going to be for the Reds. I don't know if it's going to be for my bosses at Fox. I want to apologize.
yes, yes, and I think he was talking about Kansas City, which we'll get into that here in a second. Do you know his deal? Do you know his deal? Thom Brenneman.
I know his dad was a big time Reds guy, big legacy.
Yeah, 45. Let me see if I can do math. Yeah, 45 years, man. He was the Reds announcer.
That's like a Jack Buck type deal.
Yeah, Ernie Harwell, he's, a legend, dude, a legend. Vin Scully, a legend, been around forever. So that's the only reason why I got a fucking job to begin with. Let's cut that shit out right there. That's the only reason why I got a fucking job, because of his death. Well, I was just gonna say, so he's on the air, and this goes back to pandering. So he's on the air, and he says that, and it, excuse me, it goes out, and of course he's gonna lose his job, right? You can't fucking say that on the fucking, you can't do that. You can't say that, on TV. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, But my problem with it, really, I don't really have an issue with him losing his job. I mean, honestly, come on, man, you gotta fucking know your fucking audience, dude. Moron. But my thing is, like, whenever you break a rule, or something, like, you usually don't get caught the first time, right? It's usually, like the second or third, and then it's like, oh, you've been doing this, and now you're caught. So, how many fucking times do you think he said that?
Well, it wasn't the first.
Right. It wasn't. It was the first time he said it on air, but how many times do you think he said that, to the production crew or to whoever?
The producer, the team owner.
Right, or when they're out having some drinks at some fucking steakhouse none of us can ever fucking afford to go to. How many times do you think he's dropped those F-bombs like that?
Or the other things he's dropped.
Right. And so my thing is that they kept this guy. They kept him. He's had his job forever. Like, I didn't write down how long he's worked. He's been a broadcaster. I'm assuming it's been a while. I don't care. But I'm just saying, like, so he's probably said this a billion fucking times. And now that it's out on the TV and it's out in public, now we have a problem with it. Now it's a problem. Instead of it being a problem because it's a fucking problem, it's a problem because everybody else heard it. That's fucking pandering.
Right. There's
pandering.
Hey, Tom, knock that shit off. And if you
it's
say
Thom.
That again,
it's Thom.
Hey,
Thom Brenneman.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Exactly what you said, dude. There is no, hey, maybe you should, ease up on your slurs there, buddy. Didn't come from production. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's fucking pandering. It's pandering, dude. And I can't stand that shit. The people should be up in arms with fucking Fox and whoever is in that guy's chain of command. Because I can fucking guarantee that's not the first time it's come out of his mouth. As same with a whole bunch of other shit. But as I said, like the fucking shit we just got done talking about with it, it's not an issue until somebody hears it. And that's my problem. Because it's not fucking right. And, aside from that, he was talking about Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna play a little game here. I have some special music for you. We're gonna go on ahead and we're gonna turn on this share. Get the share going in the background. So, not only is it pandering, but I compiled a list, Dick, of the gayest cities in the U.S. It was by some magazine I don't read, obviously, because I'm not gay. Not that I have anything wrong with gay people, but I don't consume gay media. I mean, I do like share, whenever it's on. I don't know if it's ironic or maybe it's something else. I don't know, but got the share going. So I have a list of the top 10 gayest cities in the U.S. Dick, do you think you could name any of these?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the consensus, the things that everyone says. Everyone says San Francisco.
Yes, that's number one.
Other than San Francisco, I would just have to go ahead and use go off the numbers and population and just go with New York or LA next.
LA's on there, New York is not.
And are we talking top 10, top 5?
It's top 10.
Okay. I lived in Kansas City. And for Kansas City to be top 10 would really surprise me. I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and throw Kansas City in there. I don't know.
No.
Nope.
Kansas City. No, Kansas City is wrong.
Give me Miami.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
No, that's about what I've came up with. So.
Okay. Well, I will run them before we run out of Believe by Cher in the background. Portland, Oregon, Austin, Texas, Providence, Rhode Island, Baltimore, Philly, Seattle, Salt Lake City, which is just like got all those racist ass fucking Mormons out there, and it's supposed to be like a top 10 gay city, really. Like, that blew my mind. But and then Los Angeles and Orlando. So not only is Thom Brenneman a fucking bigot, he's also a fucking moron, because I don't see Kansas City in this list of top 10 gay cities, and I looked through a lot of these lists to try and find Kansas City in any of them. So, as I said, he's not only a fucking bigot, his bosses, his higher ups are not only fucking pandering liars, but he's also a moron. A fucking moron. So, pandering, word of the week. Don't let yourself get fucking played by the media or anybody else. Be fucking above it. Think outside the box. We're going to take a break here for our commercial sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Hello, my friend. This is Deepak Gurjpali Chaudhary, owner and general manager of Maharaja Mercedes-Benz Warranty Centers. Are you struggling with repairs you don't want to pay for? Tires going bald? Or noises and rattles you need figured out right now? Come to Maharaja MPWC, and I guarantee we can do it for free. Whether your car is brand new and covered by factory warranty, or is a 10-year-old sheet box falling apart, our crack team of warranty experts will find a way for you not to pay. So please, my friend, come down to Maharaja Mercedes-Benz Warranty Centers and experience the true difference in South Indian customer service. We can be found in every major city and follow all CDC guidelines and perform daily sanitations with our specialized delete training crews. So now, come on down, and always remember, when you come to me, you get it for free.
And we're back. Well, kind of tying into what we were talking about a little earlier about the pandering and, that conversation we're having,
Yep.
Well, today, the 28th of August, it was a somewhat significant day. There were two events that happened that I feel like, we really had to mention, just because, and I looked all over the social media that I use, and it was very unfortunate to me that none of it came up. I didn't, I was the one doing the posting of these events. Can you name either one of these significant events, Dick? Either one?
I know. I actually saw one instance of it, which I assume you're going to talk of, but and I don't remember who posted it, but I assume one of the two events that you're talking about would be Emmett Till.
Yes. Yes. So you know the deal with that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 14-year-old kid that was brutally murdered and maimed for talking to a white lady, which, I mean, talk about, kind of fucking world that was. But, yeah, horrible. Horrible, 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 horrible. And, also, I mean, I can just give you the other one to save time. The I Have a Dream speech was today as well.
Which surprisingly,
And
I didn't see any of.
Right.
I'm on 3 social media platforms, and usually it's a mixed bag between the people that I follow. I got people all across the political spectrum, people from all walks of life that I've known from high school, that I've met that are older, that I've met from all over the country, and there's really been no posting of either, like you said. I just happened to stumble across one mention of the uh, Emmett Till.
Emmett Till,
But
yeah.
the only thing is, I don't even know. I don't even remember who posted it. I think it was just someone retweeting it.
Right. Yeah. So to me, back to my point earlier, um, it is very disappointing to not see two things like that being recognized, considering what's going on in the world right now. So I think we need to, as I said, do what we can and recognize. So big shout out, big RIP to Emmett Till, and of course, big shout out, big RIP to Martin Luther King Jr. So just
Right. Even if, this is getting to someone, say, a week late, because we don't always record and release these with current events. We're not a breaking news podcast. We're not a this day, this week in baseball podcast. So whether you're listening to it a week after we've kind of talked about our topics,
or a month,
or a month,
it
or a
doesn't
year,
it doesn't matter,
it doesn't
right?
matter. This stuff's, it's a relevant topic, and it can apply to any day of the year.
A big shout out to them, man. It wouldn't feel right not at least bringing it up or throwing Emmett Till in the last segment we do for the show. So as I said, R.I.P. to them. Keep it on. Keep the fight going. So back to the bullpen baseball. So last week I did a thing. We were talking about total bases, which I'm assuming probably turned a lot of people off and get slapped in the what is it, mushroom slapped in the face, proverbially, like that, like, here it is, laying it all out for you. But I figured it was kind of maybe unfair to a lot of the guys now, because as I said, that's really an accumulative stat. We both went over that, how everybody on there had a lot of years played, right? All of them. So what I did, I got on the our hub, and I compiled another list of basically since 2010, your total base leaders since 2010. So we can go ahead and cue the music, and the list is basically all yours, Dick. I mean, you got 10 of them. Let me see how many you can get.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the first obvious choice, and that's going to be Mike Trout.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and by the way, he has the second lowest amount of years played out of this top 10 list.
Okay.
Yes. So
It's good, you could argue it's a little past these guys' heavy hitting years. So I'm just going to name 2 names, Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera.
yeah.
Nope. Let's see. I'll say. Here's 22. Nolan Arenado.
He is number 10.
Number 10, barely. Justin Turner?
No.
No. Total bases since 2010.
A lot of these guys have accumulated all of them in, like, as I said, like that's been their whole career basically since 2010.
Oh, okay. Jose Altuve?
Verse 6.
Okay. Mookie Betts.
No, he's just him and Jose Abreu are actually just signed, and we've already talked about Jose Abreu.
Yeah. I mean, I would find it odd if there were more than one Astro on the list, considering if Altuve said what is sixth. So I'm not really going to list any other of those guys.
I'll tell you this: 1, 2, 3 of them should be obvious. 3 of them are going to be incredibly surprising. The last one
is one Nelson Cruz. Is one what's his name? Robinson Cano.
No, it's no for either one of them.
Oh, okay, I'll just do one more and I'll just say Stan. I know he's probably not on there. But...
Yes, Mike Stanton is number 5.
Oh shit.
So we can cut Pee Wee Herman. Well, it's Danny Elfman, but I got Freddie Freeman, second.
Shit.
I got Paul Goldschmidt, third. And then this is a surprising one, but he was on a 3,000 hit track basically until last year. That would be Starlin Castro.
Wow.
Yep. And you go a little further down, and then I have Carlos Santana.
Okay.
Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
Not Oye Como Va, Carlos Santana, not Black Magic Woman. Carlos Santana, the switch hitter, Carlos Santana. And then I have Ian Desmond.
Okay.
And then number 9, Eric Hosmer.
Oh shit. KC Royals fans are rejoicing right now.
Yeah, you have a bunch of good players, and then, you have guys like, fucking Starlin Castro and Ian Desmond. So, I mean, I guess really with, basically the whole argument, I mean, you do need, you have to be really good, but I guess in this particular situation, especially with total bases, I would say that attendance is a big part of that final grade. Can you agree?
Yeah, I can agree
with that. I mean, on face value, it seems like, as we said last week, or it's a good indicator, but to reach the all-time levels, you do have to have the attendance as well.
Yeah, but anyone who argues against that, it's just wrong. You look at guys and all the Hall of Fame guys. They talk on MLB Network like, oh, Mike Trout's eligible for the Hall of Fame. If he retires today, he makes the Hall of Fame. But you look at the Hall of Fame, and every guy on there, they play, of course, for maybe an exception here or there, the guys who are fighting wars in the prime of their career and just things like that. But, guys, most of them have played 18, 20 seasons.
Yeah, I think 15 is basically the cutoff, man. Honestly, that's just what it seems like, about 15 years, 14, 15, 16 years for the cutoff for the Hall of Fame. So anyways, as I said, not trying to disparage Mike Trout or, I just wanted to give a little...
No, I'm just disparaging Harold Reynolds. That's all.
Well, there's a lot of women who have made disparaging comments about Harold Reynolds, but that's, it's another topic for another time.
That'll be
so
the
last
Mike Fires episode.
Yeah.
We got a better story than Mike Fires and Harold Reynolds, though.
Oh yeah. Well, yes, yeah. We were teasing this last week, and this story happened a long time ago. So, as to what he was just saying, this isn't, it's not fucking This Week in Baseball. It's not Quick Pitch. So, our stories,
right.
our stories are gonna, they're slowly developing. But I know everybody. Shit, I dropped my pen. That happens, when you're not in a studio and you're recording from your guest bedroom. But hey, it happens.
It's soon to be a studio.
Yeah, well, soon to be someone else's house, but that's another thing. So Reese McGuire, everybody heard the story about him masturbating in his car. So just to preface this, and as I said, you can reach out to us at the show email, b2tbpshow@gmail.com. Just remember, it's like the letter 2, b2tbpshow@gmail.com. You can send us your own masturbatory, stories, sex stories, whatever. We don't want dick pics. Those would be unsolicited, and we would send the FBI after you, like those people that gave Obama death threats 8 years ago. So, yeah, I mean, it happens a lot, I guess, in baseball. I'm assuming everyone who listens, pretty much everybody in general, I would say, have had sex in a car before, right? Like, I'm assuming you have, Dick.
I can confirm that.
Yes, everybody has been a young youth with either a dump ass apartment or drunk on a Saturday night,
Or you're young and you're scared to go back to the parents' house. So
right. We've all been in that situation.
So
We've all had
make it horrible and uncomfortable, but it doesn't matter because you got it done, right?
right. And we've all, and I've had sex in a car before, and I've, been arrested. So I've something I'm very familiar with. And I would assume everyone else is familiar with that. But now masturbating in the car, like Reese McGuire. And I don't know what maybe it's because baseball has so many like, oh, we got great wood on it, or oh, he pounds one hard into the hole, or like there's a lot of terminology in baseball. I mean, pitcher and catcher is like a gay sex term, so maybe it's just maybe the terminology. Now it's not as like on the nose as like sticking someone's crease, which would be hockey, or pounding an A gap, which would be football. They're not quite as on the nose as that, but maybe the terminology in baseball leads itself to a little more sexual exploits. Like we all know about Mickey Mantle getting blown under the under the bleachers in Old Yankee Stadium. Everybody's heard that story.
God bless him.
That's why he's a true American hero. We all know about the Rangers, which we've referenced before on here, about Rugnan Odor's brother and some other guys like holding down another guy on the minor league team and masturbating him, jacking him. I guess like for team initiation. I was never in a frat in college, but boy, if somebody held me down and tried to jack me off, I don't think I'd be in that frat very long. So that's, unless it was, a bunch of women. But I mean, maybe some dudes are into that. Maybe that's what we didn't know about the Rangers. Maybe,
Right. You never know.
I don't think they're the San Francisco Fairies or, something like that. It's a basketball reference. You should watch it. That's to anybody. You need to watch basketball. An American classic. It's up there with Godfather and
The Godfather 2.
And then Godfather 3, and then I don't know, probably I don't know. That's really the 3. That's the trifecta. So anyways, I have my own story that I shared on the, got passed around here on the radio. And I understand where Reese McGuire is coming from. I do.
No pun intended.
Right. Yes. Right. No pun intended. So I was driving. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Highway 2 in North Dakota. It basically goes from Grand Forks all the way basically across the state. And I was going to Billings, Montana. because I was bored and there's nothing to do up there. And, you know, there's just something about being a 19-year-old boy and living in a place with like 8 women in the whole state, and they're all nasty. No offense, well, it is offense to North Dakota. It's a horrible place. It's literally a frozen hell. It's like Hoth, Star Wars, and the women are those things that took Mark Hamill captive. Those big, like, I don't know what they're called, wampas. I don't know what maybe they're called wampas. I don't know, but that's what you feel like as a man in North Dakota. And there's like 8 of those wampas, and that's for the other 200,000 men to just pass around. So, young, dumb, and full of cum, per se. I think I was just past Devil's Lake, which is kind of ironic when you think about it. Yeah, and I was just, I was in the mood, and there's nobody out there, and so I did a Reese McGuire, and I jacked one when I was driving. And when I shared that, I guess that's not something that happens often. I had like a towel and stuff, so like it didn't. I just like grabbed the towel. I was like, oh hey, and whatever, And of course, I washed the towel when I got home, but yes, thankfully, like it wasn't like one of those crispy towels you find in your 13-year-old's bedroom, for our older listeners. So yeah, man.
Somewhere, stepfather Steve is laughing at that. He's like, "Oh."
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's somebody out there who knows, exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah. So as I said, I shared that on the radio here on the Josh Ennis Show. I'm sure you can find the podcast if you clout checking me. So yeah, as I said, man, they I jacked one on the road. I know where Reese McGuire's coming from. I know how that feels to be young and virile and, just be surrounded by a bunch of fucking wampas. So, yeah, so I finished and, I was real tired, and then I, when I stopped, I, washed my hands or whatever, and, I rolled up a little joint and I kept going on my way. And, it didn't make the rest of the drive go faster, intended, but it was enjoyable, and I know where he's coming from. And I wouldn't recommend this in a big city either, because that's a no-go if anyone sees you. So if this is something you would like to experience on your own, please don't do it in a public. So that was my tale from the road.
Yeah, and don't do it in a parking lot of all places.
Right, a parking lot. Right, a parking lot. I think they caught Albert Bell doing that one. Said he was taking a piss, but I'm pretty sure he had like his truck door open, was jacking off behind it.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think it was recent too. I think he said he was taking a piss, but people were like, "No, dude, that guy was masturbating. He was fucking jacking off." So as I said, baseball and masturbating, like, it's just part of America. It's literally America's pastime. Baseball, right. And
which is why your story caught the hearts and minds of many and made it onto the radio.
Well, I mean, it came up when they were talking about Reese McGuire, and they were like, I said, like I texted in there, and then they were like, people were like, yeah, I've had sex in a car, and then I was like, I masturbated going down Highway 2 in North Dakota, and so it turned into like this big 10-minute ordeal, and I was like texting back, and then the guy was like doing like a trucker voice and talking about how lonely the open road was. I was like, well, yeah, I think I was like the only one. So look it up. It's on Podcast Arena. Don't clout check me because it's on there. So yeah, Tale from the road. Reese McGuire, I feel for you, man. Albert Bell. I mean, I don't really feel for you for that.
If either of you
Mickey
would like
Mantle.
to come on the show and speak your side of the story, we'll give you an open mic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's really anybody. You know, all you got to do is reach out to us, email, Twitter, Instagrams, which I know that's not what it's called, but if drugs were legal, I would be the first person to get a domain name on that. That's just a side. But yeah, so that was it. That was the tale from the road. I guess here now we really only have a couple more things, and we'll be done for the week. I guess now would probably be a good time to do our first go around with High and Tight. And we actually have listener questions.
Real listener questions.
Yes, real listener questions from a guy. Let me open up the email here. Should have already had it open, but I'm not a professional, so that's what happens when you're not a professional. His name is Trevor. I'm not going to give his last name. He spells very bad though, so I would assume he's from somewhere in the South. No offense. So I guess we'll get some music going, man. And we'll just kind of fire these back and forth at each other. And I mean, I can give you one, and then you can. I don't know how many you were able to procure, but
I've got a singular question from a listener.
Okay. Well, we hear the music. It's kind of pseudo love connection thing going on here. As I said, you can ask us anything. b2tbpshow@gmail.com. b2tbpshow@gmail.com. Any questions, comments, concerns, love advice, tax evasion, how to cook crack, anything you want to ask about. You know, you could even ask about baseball, so that's the point of the show, but anything you want to ask. So I'll just, we'll get right into it here. So, guys, long-time listener, been with you guys since day one. My first question, last year when Astros shortstop Carlos Correa suffered an injury, a broken rib, from a quote-unquote in-home massage, was this really a massage? Or did his fiancée just get the better of him during coitus?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and have to say, no, there's not a chance in hell that it was a massage. And take one look at Carlos Correa, and that tells you what you have to. I think, didn't he propose to his now wife after they won the World Series or something? And we don't.
You're saying he's kind of soft, right?
Right, and we don't even know if his wife was the one that, gave him the in-home massage. It could have been some chick on the training staff. It could have been, some chick from down the street or off Craigslist or Tinder. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, a porn star. We've seen porn stars reach out to, I think, Javier Baez. They were in his DMs.
Well, you know about Carlos Correa's wife, right?
No.
She's like some clap-grabbing fucking miss. I mean, she's hot, I think. I'm pretty sure she's real hot. She's Hispanic. Not that it matters, but she's from Texas.
Wow, I'm really surprised.
Yeah, no, I think she's real hot, but she's like some clout-grabbing Insta hoe, and that's probably why he's gonna end up going to New York or something, because he's gonna go to the Dodgers. All their crap about cheating. That's where he'll end. But anyways, yeah, she definitely fucked his ribs up when they're having sex. I'm almost 100% sure. And he's, as I said, he's like a soft body guy. He does that fake tough guy act now, but dude's a puss. He's been made of glass, so I don't know what they were trying. Probably something idiotic on a marble table, or they're rich, so I'm sure there's lots of items that they can make coitus on. But
like a trash can.
Did you hear the banging?
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, so dude. Trevor, his wife fucked his rib. You know, it's if shit happens. So another question: what are your feelings on the direction that they are trying to move baseball in? By this, I mean robo-umps, pitch timers, etc. So this is a legitimate baseball question. This is a legitimate baseball question, which is very surprising. But me personally, no. I don't like any of it. Pitch timer thing I can understand. There's dudes that take way too long. Even when I played, I was always more of a Mark Burley guy. Like, give me the ball and let me fucking throw, you know? I never really wasted. Now, there's sometimes you kind of want to bait the hitter a little bit, you know, and kind of, you know, mix your timing up to, like, mix their rhythm up. Like, that's really understandable. But, like, robo-umps, no. People are like, well, why wouldn't you want it to be right every time? Because that's part of what makes baseball cool, man. Like, people aren't always right all the time. That's like part of life, you know. People aren't always right.
Yeah.
You know, unless, you know, it's John Boy or Jeff Passan. Well, at least with baseball, or, you know, I could make some more digs here, but I don't want to risk losing any more listeners. So, yeah, I mean, it's part of life, man. It's part of the game. I don't like any of it. I do get speeding stuff up sometimes because it is real slow, but putting dudes on a timer and all that shit, and you can't step out of the box this many times.
Bro, they already fixed this pacing of the game. They limited the mound visits.
Yeah, which is fine, but at the same time, man, you know, I don't like left-handed specialists getting iced out of the game like that. The 3-batter thing, I don't like the 3-batter thing. I mean, dudes, and I'm not sure if we've brought his name up before. I know I have with you, but I don't know if it's ever been on a show. But, you know, Randy Choate, you know, like, that was a long... Yeah, and the Yankees, like, that was a guy. Mike Myers was a left-handed dude that threw, like, submarine. I think he was on the Diamondbacks the year they won the World Series. Like, he's been all over. So that means in the future, those guys are obsolete, which I don't like. I'm not okay with that.
Right, because then you're just going to get a whole bunch of the same pitchers, you know, carbon copies of each other, you know. Whatever.
Yeah, you're just going to get a bunch of guys that throw fucking gas. That's it. You're not going to have any junky-ass left-handers in there. You're not, you know, it's going to be by the wayside. So, no, I don't like it. So, who, in your guys' opinion, is the biggest douchebag in the MLB?
In the MLB, I'm going to let you pick it first. I mean, we might both have the same answer, and if you pick who I'm going to pick, I might pick a runner-up.
Man, that's hard, and I don't have much time. Wait, let me hit. Hard, dude. So hard. Like when I was in that car on Highway 2 in North Dakota. Man, fuck. I want to say like Mike Clevenger, but it's not.
It's too easy right now.
It's too easy. Fuck. Man. Prop? I'd probably say Alex Bregman, dude.
Oh, God.
No. Well, yeah, he's a douchebag. He's a douchebag. And I think what makes him so douchey to me is that after he got cheating, he immediately backpedaled on all his douchiness. And it's like, if you're going to be that guy, then you need to fucking be that guy. Like, Barry Bonds was always that guy. Bryce Harper now has always been that guy. Roger Clemens, he was always that guy. Mark McGwire, he was always that guy. Jose Canseco, and I am naming a lot of steroids, guys, but, you know, fuck it. We have a steroid sponsor that we're going to be introducing soon, so I need to plug their former clientele. But anyways, yeah, man, if you're going to be about that, be about that. Don't get caught with your hand in the cookie jar like a 5-year-old kid and immediately start backpedaling. So he's he's the biggest douchebag to me. Just for that, really.
Yeah. I mean, anyone who's watched the Astros game, I mean, the way he would fuck the whole camera stare, just the whole way, the douchiness, it was just running rampant. And yeah, now.
Right, and as I said, as soon as he did something fucking wrong, and people stopped liking him, and they were like, "Oh, he doesn't. Oh, look at his camera stare. Let's make a GIF." You know, like as soon as he was outed as a cheater, he immediately backpedaled on all his douchiness, which makes it like 10 times worse for me.
Yep.
But who's your douchiest person?
This is a player I'm surprised you didn't pick, and you know, everyone, if they spout off enough stuff, they'll get a point right here and there, but that doesn't mean they're not a complete asshole. My pick's gonna be Trevor Bauer. No one other than Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, he's pretty big douchebag, man. I guess because he thinks he's smarter than everybody else. Really, I guess that's why he's so douchey.
Right.
And then when he threw that ball, like no shit, dude.
At the Royals
It
game.
reminded me of. Yeah, you remember that? He like threw the ball in the center field. Dude, one time I was like, God, I can't remember. I think I was a freshman in high school, and I think I served up something, and this dude he played in the minors. His name's Ronnie Mitchell, black kid, fucking good. I can't believe he didn't make the majors, honestly. But I like served something to him, and he like fucking yoked me off the wall, and then I like hit the next kid, and like my coach. I think I had 2 outs too, so I was steaming, you know.
Yeah.
And my coach comes out, and he's like, "Okay, you're done." And I took my jersey off, like walking off the field, and I threw him the ball. I was like, "Okay."
You showed him.
No, I didn't, because I didn't play for a while after that. I think that probably, looking at it now, it's probably not the best choice. But I was mad, and that wasn't the first time either. Yeah, at another time when I was like 13 and did the same fucking thing for the same fucking thing. So, yeah, man, that's definitely a douchebag move. I guess, I don't know, man, and I think if he was on like a better, I don't like the Indians, because I'm a Tigers fan, you know?
Yep.
I thought Jason Kidd, see, but I like the White Sox, though. I've always liked the White Sox. But I hate the Cubs, even though that was like the first game I ever went to, was a Cubs game. I hate the Cubs, can't stand the Cubs. But, and I hate the Royals, too. But then the Twins I'm kind of meh, okay, cool. I lived up there for a while, obviously. If you listen to the story earlier, I lived up there for a while, so Twins aren't too bad. But I'm a diehard Tigers fan, and I can't fucking stand the Indians. And it's like everybody who's on there. I think Jim Thomey's a douchebag, and he's like fucking, like one of the nicest guys ever, and I can't fucking stand Jim Thomey. I can't stand Francisco Lindor. I thought Jason Kipnis was a fucking douchebag. I don't like Terry Francona now. I think he's a fucking clown. Even though he's not, he's a great manager. Great manager. Super underrated. But
Why do you think he's
I can't say super. Huh?
Why do you think he's a clown?
Who?
Francona.
I don't know, man. Just like his dip. They always like a big fat dip in, and he wears he cut the sleeves off his pullover with scissors, and it's just like, dude.
Yeah, like I couldn't make you a tank.
Give somebody to do that for you. Y'all pay somebody to do that. And plus, I don't know. I don't like him. It's really. I just don't like him. I don't like Indians players. So I think maybe if he's on another team, and I mean, even though he's on the Reds, probably just him, man. He could probably be on the Tigers. No, I can't say that. I definitely. He's definitely. That's a good choice. I think we both make good choices.
I agree.
Yeah, agree. And I got one more, which is really, before we get to your questions, kind of what we're going for here. What is the best haircut for the true American patriot?
Wow. Well, there's a couple we can touch on. First and foremost, you have the obvious one, which, depending on how it's cut, how it's maintained, and what type of hair you have, says a lot about you. But if you have a mullet, that's debatable. It could be in there. There's been a lot of great people with mullets. There's been a lot of great Americans with flat tops.
Yeah, man. And I was gonna say, like, flat top is a bit like Roger Staubach had a flat top. Johnny Unitas had a flat top.
Whitey Herzog had a flat top.
Roger Maris had a flat top. And Roger Maris had a flat top when they brought him. I think like when they brought him somewhere before he died, like in the '90s. Like he was still rocking the flat top. So
What a beast.
yeah. So that's. I mean, I don't know, man, because like with mullets, it's hard because I'm more of like a feathered mullet guy. I'm a big Kurt Russell dude. So it's like you have that '80s like just kind of feathered mullet, almost like Farrah Fawcett hair, but definitely a mullet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've never been a fan of like the fade on the side with just the straight up.
yeah, see the mullets that they do now are not American at all because they're not. Like you shave, you look like a European soccer player. Like, who wants to look like some communist fucking European? You know what I'm saying? Like who's trying to fucking do that? But yeah, I don't know, man. But then bald too, I mean, bald is a good look, man. There's lots of, I'll definitely say 100% that black men rock bald more consistently and better than white men, for sure, 100%.
You don't think Howie Mandel looks as menacing as Samuel L. Jackson?
He used to be funny, right? Isn't that crazy? Howie Mandel. Yeah, he used to be funny in the 80s.
He used to have like a little fro or something?
Yeah, he was always, he's a Jewish guy. Jew fro. Curly. Look like Jonah Hill. Well, Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, Jew fro. Jet black. Now, he used to have like a big bag. It was called a hand bag, and do you know what it was?
No.
It was a big hand. Oh, you like that?
I do.
Yeah, he used to be fine. I watched stand-up of his on YouTube, and I was like, wow, this is the guy from Let's Make a Deal. Or not Let's Make a Deal,
Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, Deal or No Deal, right,
For this, I'm gonna, it's controversial, it's really controversial, but I'm gonna have to rule out the mullet.
Rule out the mullet?
I
guess.
I'm saying that a bald or a flat top, I'm just saying there's one way to rock each. You're either bald or you either have a flat top. There's no wiggle room.
Right, and I think with mullets, they've been bastardized like so many other things in our world today and torn down. I mean, you can't just do the simple John Daly chili bowl, chili bowl, mullet out the back, cigarette out of your mouth, American flag polo, it's just not, you can't do that anymore, and I guess for like a Kurt Russell-esque mullet, which is what I try, that's how I rock my hair, it is a lot of maintenance to keep feathered. Brush it a lot, put product in it. Americans aren't really about having, foo-foo hair. It's all about utility and power,
Right.
So.
And to mainly flex on the peasantry of European nations that can't grow and maintain hair, without things like additives and other signs of being a weak man.
Yeah. So, do you know why Europeans came up with soccer?
Why?
Well, it was invented as something for women to do while the men did all of the cooking.
Wow.
I got that from Hank Hill.
Is that true? That was on King of the Hill?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not
And
surprised.
that's what I've been going with. That's why I'm such an anti-soccer guy.
I can't blame
So,
you.
but yeah, speaking of Hank Hill, I mean, I guess it's probably the flat top.
Yeah, I think that's going to sell me on it. And another patriotic and well-known American, if you don't know him, you should, would be Apollo 11 and Apollo 13 flight director Gene Kranz. Rock the flat top. To this day,
I'm pretty sure. What's his face? One of them, man. Like I don't think it was Alan Shepard. I don't think it was John Glenn. But like, did Neil Armstrong have a flat top?
Nah, dude, Neil Armstrong.
Buzz Aldrin. Did Buzz Aldrin have a flat top?
Pretty lame hair. Let's see what Buzz. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if at one point in time he was rocking flat top. He could have. I mean, his hair is pretty short in all the Apollo pictures.
Find it.
Yeah, it's just show. I mean, his hair is pretty short in all the Apollo pictures. I'm not seeing a Buzz Aldrin flat top.
Well, that's disappointing. Yeah, I'm not seeing it either. Well, I guess I'm misremembering the Apollo 11 flight since I was alive for that and everything. But yeah, so that's what we're going with. It has to be the flat top. The mullet loses out. I think the bald loses out because,
Based
as
on
I
the
said,
fact there's no hair.
well, no, I mean, you could rock that stupid fucking, bald on. That's what white dudes do, which is the problem. Which is why it can't be such a great, like, it can't be the true American haircut because not everybody's too scared to go all the way with it, especially white guys. Like, you just shave that shit off, man. Like Bruce Willis.
Yep.
Did you know that was the twist in The Sixth Sense?
No.
I don't think a lot of people know that. That the guy with the hairpiece the whole movie was Bruce Willis. Did you know that?
No.
See, that's the first time I watched it and I saw the credits. I was like, oh my god, that's the twist everyone's talking about.
Jesus.
But yeah, so that's oh well no, I think you have a question, right?
I did have one question.
Okay.
A viewer, Jordan, is writing in asking if we think that Tesla is really worth 4 times as much as the Big Five. Now, by Big Five, I don't know if Jordan means like the biggest 5 stocks that are in the S&P 500, or if he's talking.
The automakers, Big Five, automakers.
I don't think he would. Oh, I guess so. I guess that's a good point.
You want to know the answer? You don't even have to keep going. I fucking hate Tesla. I hate Elon Musk.
You hate,
I hate
Elon Musk? He's gonna go
Yeah, I
to
hate
Mars,
it.
bro. He's gonna
Yeah, he's
put-
gonna go to Mars by privatizing fucking space travel. Awesome, great.
He's gonna put
Great.
Barone on Mars.
No. Yeah. No, Donald Trump's son is autistic. He's not
Well,
going on any.
Let me tell you, I like Elon. We've talked multiple times. He said,
No.
Donald, we're going to put Barron on Mars. How would Joe like that? Sleepy Joe. How would he like that if we put Barone on Mars? Him and Kanye. Kanye West. Good guy. Going to
His
Mars.
African American friend.
My black friend.
Yeah, man, he's an idiot. I don't like Elon Musk. Part of what pisses me off about Elon Musk is that he stole all his fucking technology. That's a Mercedes-Benz proprietary tech. Well, it's not proprietary because Mercedes lets everybody else get it. There's like everything else in every fucking car. Mercedes had self-driving cars since like 1999, and Elon Musk took the fucking software and did it in his car and his big fucking iPad and did that, and now everybody thinks, oh my god, dude, you can like look at the parts in there, the gear selector, the fucking, you know, the shit for the door, the switch grouping for the door. It's
packs and the column module. That's all Mercedes parts.
It's all ripped out of a Mercedes. So
and they're ripped out of like a CLA, which is what's even most epic.
Right, it's even more pathetic. Right. So he no man, fuck, they're that high because of I mean, I don't have any issues with electric vehicle. I think diesel hybrid is the way for the future. I think we have no infrastructure for fully electric cars, and we won't in our lifetimes. So, and I'm 30 basically. So, you know, God willing, you can tack on another 100 years to that. So, in 100 years, I'm still going to be alive, and we still won't have the infrastructure to have electric, you know, fully electric cars. It's not going to happen. So diesel hybrid, that's number one. And number two, there's a paradox with electric cars that people don't talk about, which kind of definitely going off the baseball path here, but the paradox with the cars, I think it's important because people think self-driving cars are the future. They're not. Now, I don't remember the name of the paradox. I'm not going to waste time looking it up because we have been playing high and tight for a while. So basically, you're in the car, right? And there's a person on the road and a brick wall. So the car has to decide whether to hit the person and kill the pedestrian on the road or hit the brick wall and kill the driver. That's the paradox. It's like it has another thing too with like you have a group of people and there's a train and the train can either hit the group of people or it can hit the one person and kill them. And there's no amount of technology, at least at this point, that can make that decision. If you're a person driving that car, you're obviously going to save yourself and run over the other person as opposed to hitting a brick wall and killing yourself. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's right, and I mean there's a philosophical thing with this, and that's what that particular paradox is why there's always going to be an issue with self-driving cars, unless this is some kind of like, you know, dystopian Blade Runner future, or, you know, like, have you ever seen The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis, the guy with the hairpiece from Sixth Sense? Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, they have like flying cars in those movies, but they like follow a path. You don't really drive them. You just like put a thing in, but like they're in the air. They're not on the ground. They fly. And they're like on a pathway. It's almost like a train. So there's no. Well, you can put it in a manual override, but people don't do that in these dystopian futures very often. So yeah, man, there's that paradox. So as I said, fuck Tesla, fuck Elon Musk. They're not worth being 5 times. Now, I can also turn that on the flip side and say fuck American automakers because they've raped the middle class, the blue-collar middle class with jobs, and they absolutely murdered the Midwest. Moving jobs for cheap, basically, to pay pennies on the dollar to get their cars built and their car parts built. So, fuck the big 5. I think Toyota and Mercedes-Benz employ more automakers than in the U.S. than like, you know, Fiat. Well, you know, Fiat Chrysler and
Right.
Ford.
Well, I think the question meant to say big 3. Technically, it's Fiat or it's Chrysler. It's Chrysler, Ford, GM would be the big 3 if you're talking just American automakers.
No, as I said, no. Tesla does not. No, they have no. The reason why they're evaluated so high is because of the hype, the media hype. And they're pieces of shit too, man. Like those cars, I have a lot of experience with those vehicles. Like they fucking suck. So, no, they don't. No, fuck no.
Well,
I'm not excusing them. And as I said, I'm not excusing American automakers and saying like, oh, their shit don't stink. fucking true blue, baby. You know, like I'm not saying that, but no, they have no reason. None. Pull your money out now while you can.
Well, Jordan, let me say this: with the recent stock split we just saw in Tesla, and what a 20% gain after day one, I would highly advise you to readjust your portfolio to dump potentially 80, 90% or more into Tesla and just ride it out. You know what? You know they say it's stocks generally always go up over a long period of time. So if I had control of your money with no consequences, that's what I would do.
Yeah, dump it now while you can, before it's too late. But yeah, I guess that's really all the questions we got. You don't have any more, right? I'm out. I'm fresh out.
That's it.
Well, yeah. So that was pretty much high and tight. I'm getting high. We're throwing tight questions. Dick's not getting high. He's not getting hard. He's just kidding. He's doing a lot. Just not any of that. But yeah, as I said, man, send your questions in. Anything. b2tbpshow@gmail.com. b2tbpshow@gmail.com. We will answer them. I'm trying to work on a guest for this in the future, but that's far out. If anybody of any clout wants to get in on this, as I said, email, Twitter, Instagrams, whatever. So, yeah, that was high and tight. Well, about this time every week, getting towards the end of the show here, talked about the segment last time. Like to go over those who are no longer with us. The little segment we like to call Dust in the Wind.
Tough scene.
This isn't funny. We're talking about people who died.
That's true.
So, man, this is a long list this week. It's really hard to start. I don't have any, ancient people, but I'll just start with the baseball players, and we'll go from there. This week it's been 100 years since Ray Chapman. You know who Ray Chapman is?
Ray Chapman. Let's check the hub, Ray.
No, don't check the hub. No, don't.
He's not even coming up. Oh, all the way at the bottom, 1912 to 1920. So me being born in 96 does not know who Ray Chapman is.
Well, Ray Chapman got hit in the head by Carl Mays and he died on the baseball
I saw
field.
that the other day.
It was 100 years ago. Took a fastball to the dome.
Too bad we're pussies and wear batting helmets then.
Yeah, right? Yeah, fucking pussies with their batting helmets. Then I have a Mike Flanagan, 1979 Cy Young winner. He was 59 years old, shotgun to the head. Cobain style suicide. Yep. Dark. It's dark. Moonlight Graham.
He had 4 career saves.
4. Well, he had a Cy Young, so. Then I have Moonlight Graham, not the old guy from Field of Dreams, but the real one. He was 88. Wyatt Hoyt. I think I'm saying that right. I've always said it like that, so I hope I'm saying it. 84, heart failure. Then I have Bobby Bonds, who, when you look at Bobby Bonds and you look at his numbers, man, I mean, especially, and we talk a lot of shit about analytics, but Bobby Bonds is a guy who is a lot better than the numbers on paper. Like when you get into his other stuff, he's a lot better than he gets credit for. But he died when he was 57, combination of lung cancer and brain tumor. That is, I mean, he spawned the greatest player ever, so I guess you could say it's a good run, but that is a very rough way to go at 57.
And I mean, looking right here, 332 home runs out of only 1,800 hits.
Yeah, dude. He's a modern day player back then, and he had speed too, and he could fucking field. So Bobby Bonds is an unappreciated player. If I had my own Hall of Fame, a Doc Hall of Fame, he'd probably be in it. along with his son.
450 stolen bases.
Yeah, good. He's a good player, man. Underrated dude. Then I have Adolphus Busch the third. Budweiser. 55 brain hemorrhage. So not a good run, and Budweiser's piss water anyway, just like Pearl. Brigham Young, Mormon guy, a lot of wives. 76. His appendix exploded. Then I have Truman Capote, the writer, and he wrote that book, In Cold Blood. Have you ever read that? It takes place in like Kansas or Nebraska.
Really?
Read that? Yeah, it's In Cold Blood. It's a good book. He was 59, drug intoxication and liver failure, so not really the best run.
That's a completely different side of Kansas than where I was at.
Yeah, I know. It's like way out there, like Garden City or some. I read it a long time. So I have some politicians here too. Ted Kennedy, 77, brain cancer. Never forget Chappaquiddick. Never forget it. And the Kennedy curse. Then I have John McCain, 81. Underrated politician. I mean, he really wasn't bad considering what the Republicans throw out there today. Brain cancer as well. Then I have Leon Trotsky.
Wow.
Little Bolshevik for you. 60. Go ahead.
I wasn't expecting any non-Americans to make the cut, so.
Well, you gotta spread the love, man. Spread the love. Doesn't matter where you're from. When you're dead, you're dead. So yeah, Leon Trotsky, 61. He was assassinated in Mexico City. I would assume that that's not really the best way to go to be assassinated. Then I have Charles Lindbergh, who was an American hero at the time, but then it turned out he was like a Nazi sympathizer, which is not, so is Henry Ford, but everybody, Ford is the best in Texas. So people don't, I guess it's not that big of a deal. He flew across the ocean, so.
We got Walt Disney on the list of American Nazi sympathizers too, and he has one.
Yeah, Henry Ford, Walt Disney, people buy that shit up all the time, so who cares? So you got Lindbergh, 72, lymphoma, not really the best guy.
At least he
I have
got to go
another.
in Hawaii though.
Yeah, true. Then I have another explorer, Neil Armstrong, 82. He died from complications from heart surgery, which, how are you going to fucking botch a surgery on the first guy that got on the moon? But, great run, man. 82, first dude on the moon. It was in a sound studio in Los Angeles. So, good for him, man. They sold it. Have some entertainers here too. Stevie Ray Vaughan. My mom always told me he had way too much soul for a white dude. Unfortunately, God came and plucked him off this earth for that. So he was 35, died in a helicopter crash. Please avoid helicopters.
Yeah,
anybody out there, please.
Too many
Don't.
greats have lost their lives now.
Yes. 35, not a good run. Then I have Aaliyah. Do you know who Aaliyah is?
Aaliyah.
Yeah, Queen of the Damned. She there's a lot of weird stuff with her and R. Kelly, but she was 22 years old. She was also a dime piece too. She was a very nice looking lady. Plane crash, 22. Not a good run. 2001 maybe, 2002, 2001, 2002. That movie Queen of the Damned came out. She died when they were
Yeah.
dime piece. Good looking lady, lots of talent, great singer. 22, not a good run. Then I have, a couple more here that are interesting. Hey, God, I feel like I should say this right. Haile Celeste, do you know who that is?
I don't.
Well, he's basically the prophet for the Rastafarians, because he was all about Ethiopia being a strong, African independence, bro. He was a great leader. Had a lot of great things to say. He was 83 years old, which is a great run. But he was strangled to death in his bed by his own, subordinates. So, shitty way to go for a good guy. Oh, and I can't forget about Tex Avery. You know about Tex Avery?
Tex Avery.
Don't Wikipedia it. I'll just tell you. Tex Avery. He's the artist. Bugs Bunny. All the Looney Tunes. That was him. He drew all of them. He was 72 and he died of lung cancer. So the last here, we have Porn Star, of course. Our typical thing we do at the end of every Dust in the Wind segment. I have Devin Davis, 42 years old. Do you know anything about Devin Davis? I felt really bad about this finding out because they always.
I don't know anything about Devin Davis, but I gotta do some sort of digging with what I'm given, and I need to ask how her name is spelt, the first name.
Devin.
So that's about as.
You should know who this is if you know anything about music. When I was talking to my wife about this, I felt legitimately bad that I didn't know.
So once you say it, will I be like, oh yeah, I know, or what?
Well, I mean, she was married. Her husband was Jonathan Davis, the frontman of Korn.
Oh, okay.
And they seem like a relatively normal family, considering you're the frontman of an alt metal band and your wife is a porn star. But I guess behind the scenes it was a little rough. Can you guess how she died?
Well, I got last week right, so I'm just gonna go with my intuition, as mentioned earlier in the show, and guess suicide.
No, drug overdose.
Damn it.
I mean, if you go to rehab those 6 times and it doesn't work, I guess it's technically a chemical suicide, so I can give you half. That was a bummer to find out for me. Well, so good show, man. Good show. I feel like I, passed barely this week, and I'd give you a passing grade, too. You hear the Merle kicking in. Do you have any closing statements for us?
I would just say do some self-reflection on some of the things that we discussed. When you listen into this baseball podcast, we really want you to just take away and think of how big of a piece of shit you probably are. And, given our expertise and our guidance, you could probably come out better on the other side and maybe end up as good as we are.
Yeah, yep, at its finest. But as I said, music's coming in, so I'm gonna do my thing here. I'm gonna hit myself with the syringe. I'm gonna close this shit down like roided out Eric Gagne would. So until next time, baseball. You can always get to us via, Twitter, Instagram, or the show email, b2tbpshow@gmail.com, b2tbpshow@gmail.com, and until next time, fucking baseball.
I know you're gonna miss me when you find I've gone insane, but I got a right to lose my mind if I can't stand the pain. Gone crazy, I may be hard to find. Gone crazy, somewhere out of my mind. Will I be somewhere out of my mind?